I'm Phyllis from the Doll Corner, and welcome back. Today, well, I'm working on my series addressing this little doll. And the first day we made a pattern, took a pattern from my book, and we adjusted the pattern so that it would fit the doll perfectly. We had to make the bodice a 1/4 of an inch longer because we needed a seam allowance, and it wouldn't have been long enough. We'd have used the original pattern. So we adjusted the patterns, we made the panties, we made the petticoat, and now we're going to make her a little dress. Now we used the same bodice pattern for the petticoat as we wear for the dress, but we made it a little bit lower in the neckline by about 1/4 of an inch. And this is the back lining, and this is the front, and these are this is the front, this is the lining, the front lining, and this is the back, and it's doubled, so it's like that when it's folded out. It's one piece, but it's just folded. And I joined it at the shoulders, the 4 pieces, and then I pressed it, and I will well, first of all, I should tell you what I did with I made this little yoke. I cut it the same as my bodice piece, only I didn't make it as long, and I cut it this shape. But if you wanted a round neck, or if you wanted it to come down this way, or just however you would like it to go, if you wanted it lopsided, you could do that too. Just set it on top, and you can stitch it down if you like, but I put some double-faced tape on here. Let's see. And pull that off. And this is my covering. I want to cover over that. I put a ribbon, and I just sewed it on an angle. And I'm just going to tuck and then I will stitch this down, but I won't bother with this one because trim it off, and then I'll trim this back part. It makes it a lot lighter if you just trim this off. I had it partially trimmed off. And then I've folded in half like this, and I'll sew around the neckline. And I have this one sewn and turned it right side out, and it gives a nice neat neckline. And so I have it ready to put the sleeves in now. I have this sleeve in, and this one, I'll show you how I do it. I gather the top and the bottom of it, and this is a piece of bias, and I stitched it over the gathers. And I'm going to turn this over, and I will top stitch in the ditch along here. And I made this a little bit larger, so it's on the bias, so I'll just trim this all away, because it won't fray because it's on the bias. And that's my sleeve. Now I'm ready to put it in. Set it in. So I have my center mark, and I put it right on the shoulder seam, and I'll put a pin in it there, and I'll bring this down here, tighten up my gathering threads a little bit loose, and then just line it along there. Now I need most of the gathers to go to the top of the sleeve. And gather my up again. Put a pin in there. And just sew it. There, we did a pretty good job, I think. Now I'm going to turn this in a little bit. Line up my side and my sleeve, making sure I get my lining, my sleeve and everything in place. Stick a pin back here. And that's the side seam. Now we've got both sleeves in, so I'll do the same with this side. So up here. Got my seam coming around here and the one matching up here, so it's not too bad. That's pretty good. Now I have a basting thread I have to pull out of the sleeve. And now we're ready for the skirt. And I did a ruffle, and I stitched, I hemmed up the bottom, added the ruffle, and see, I think I find my center seam right here. And this goes to the center. And I'm just lining it up here, centering it. I'll sew this. Pin out that's on the wrong side. That's I'm going to run the serger over this seam and put some trim on here and sew up the back, but I'll do that on my next video. But I want you to see how it's going to fit before I leave. That's fitting nicely around the neck. It's the right length. I think that should be all right. So we'll see you on the next video when I make her finish up this little dress and do the bonnet. And thanks for watching. Bye now.